Second driving question. How did the United States become such a big worldwide influence? To understand what happened to the United States became so big, we have to go back when the United States was nothing more but a little country in North America.
The United States first expanded North America, reaching Pacific Ocean. The United States people were divided by two ideas, expanding or not. This major debate became bigger after the United States' first Civil War. Most of the presidents in that time have the idea of expanding. One of the most famous and important of them was William H. Seward. One of his most famous phrases was, "All prosperous nations must expand." He was the one who conquered Alaska in 1867 with the help of the vice president at the moment and a couple of militaries that the United States had at the moment. The Americans who didn't want to expand had their reasons. Expanding equals more people of inferior races. If they came, they'll have to integrate the new population to the country, things that they didn't want to. At that time, the racism and inequality was a day-to-day thing. When time was almost getting at the 19s, something that happened that completely changed the United States history. For some reason, the United States economy exploded. It was a 2 year thing. It required a lot of centralized move by state bureaucracy to manage that high economy. Some time passed, and the President William McKinley dragged war with Spain, getting that way Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. Those countries would independencize later. In 1898, the Kingdom of Hawaii annexed to the United States, gaining more territory and popularity throughout the world. After some years, the United States won control over the Panama Canal Zone, making these continent's achievements made the United States a big global power. America approached this to protect the growing commerce and the United States opened up trade with China. United States impact World War I and Europe conflict, getting in between and finishing it. America entry provided a much more needed morale boost for the Allies, ground down by nearly 4 years of ghastly, bloody trench warfare. The troops arrived on the front of the raid by 10,000 a day. The Germans had no troops to replace their. About 1 million American men arrived in France in total, about half saw frontline service.
We can be say the military have major role ending the First World War. It was noted the war ranged mortally for months, with better deployed and lacks the United States could probably have helping and blood more much sooner.
American casualties killed and wounded totaled about 110,000. The war ended on 11 November of 1918 after 70 million human beings, military civilians, had died. About 20 million were wounded. Much of Western Europe was reduced to a cinder pile. This didn't happen just once. The story was same when World War II was happening. The United States got in between and solved the catastrophe. On both occasions, the United States went to sign the peace treaty.
Isolation was still a problem in the United States. During the Big Depression and the rise of Hitler, the United States was more focused on its own region than the European affairs. Though America's economical growing got better soon, and for the United States was impossible to keep the nose out of global issues. So at the end, the United States could interfere in the war and end it for a second time. It all culminated in the Pearl Harbor attack that brought the United States to the Second World War. The United States was the only major power to avoid economic ruin in war, and it was the sole country equipped with atomic weapons. As such, its position was perfect to set the terms of peace and with the aim of preventing another war. They took that for advantage.
Made new rules that prohibited wars of conquer. 930 delegates from all 44 United Nations came together to avoid another Great Depression and another World War. The Bretton Woods Agreement ultimately became the backbone of our great financial system. By making this law, the United States was involved in worldwide problems. The issue is that the second largest power, the Soviet Union, saw things differently. Because of World War II, they had made allies out of the Democrat West and Communist East in the fight against Hitler, but it couldn't last long because of the type of government.